I grew up without my biological father around. As I went through life, I witnessed things falling apart. After hitting bottom, it was one day at a time, one piece at a time, rebuilding my life. So as a child, growing up was pretty difficult. I was in a home that had a lot of violence. I ran away a lot. I found it sometimes easier just to disappear. I got myself in a lot of trouble, and I ran away from everything. As I began to think about my life and that my biological father was out there somewhere, I knew that I really needed to turn my life around. So the first time I walked into Dad's, actually I shook down the front desk lady a couple times about when the big guy's gonna be there. And so I met with him finally. He's like, I really don't have time today.
I asked him if he would join a group of men who were in a room in my office.
And I remembered seeing everybody from Park Avenue to Park Bench, and they were sharing their life. I went back next week to think, okay, well, I can have this conversation with the big guy, and he did the same thing. Believe it or not, 3 years goes by, and I fall in love with this group of men. Coming to Dad's, I had many obstacles to overcome. I don't know where I'd be without the intense mentoring that I received there. That support forever changed my life.
William went from mopping the floors after hours to overseeing all our technology in the office,
to traveling the country with them, and I just literally fell in love with the movement of dealing with fatherlessness in America.
I remember I had called William and invited him to come because we needed his assistance.
And I went there specifically to hear the choir and see what their needs were so that I can give them a good assessment. And so I went to a little social after, and this guy in a wheelchair rolls up to me. He heard my voice and he said, "Billy?" And turns out it's my Uncle Jimmy, and he said, your dad's been looking for you for 30 years, and here's his number, and you really should give him a call.
William had no idea when he came on that day that this was the day that he would narrow the distance between himself and his father.
We decided, hey, we got a car, let's drive over so you can meet your dad for the first time. So we had this opportunity to be with William for the first time he laid eyes on his dad.
We come through these gates, and my dad is standing in the driveway. Before I even got out the car, he almost snatched me out of the car, and he gave me this bear hug. And it was crazy. It was my real dad.
This is after 30 years of not knowing where he was. The words don't really come, but it's the feeling that was one of the greatest days of my life to have that happen.
Ended up seeing him maybe a month later, flew out to Seattle, and it was probably the most memorable experience of my life, hanging out with my grandfather. It's just something that I never would have ever imagined possible.
The role that William plays with dads now has evolved over the years. Now William is the president of the board of directors, which is a true testament of how men turn their lives around and then rise to the occasion.
For William to go from being a member of the organization, them helping him out, talk about a ripple effect. I mean, that's how things are fixed in the community. It starts with one, but you don't keep it, you pass it on.
I would like to thank Dads for just walking with me and being patient with me, for giving me the courage to pursue a career and family. It was an amazing burden lifted off of my shoulders just walking through the front door. I didn't do anything special but show up with a good heart, and the rest kind of wrote its own story. And one of the things that happened is I learned I really wanted to be a dad. I mean, a real dad.